KDFL Dynasty Fantasy Football podcast. It's the podcast with the league to follow along with. And I'm joined this week, as always, by Mr. Jonathan Detroit Haynes. How are we doing, sir?
Yo, 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 that is Jonathan Detroit, your fantasy baseball champion, Haynes. It's good to be here.
I came in last place. So
also joining us for fantasy expertise, it's the general manager of the Nocatee Zen Masters, Mr. Matthew Smith. Matt, how are we doing?
Amazing. Spectacular. Zen as can be. Living the great life down in Nocatee.
All right. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't, this is the first time ever I didn't introduce myself, Mr. Brett Steele. So, boys, we have finally made it. No more draft analysis, no more preseason hype, no more training camp stories. Week 1 of the 2023 season is finally upon us. It is happening later this evening as the Lions kick off versus the Chiefs. But first, we can't go forward until we go backward. And I know Mr. Matt Smith listened intently to last week's episode. He may have a few thoughts to say. So you're entitled to a defense. You're entitled to plead your own case in this country. So, Mr. Matt Smith, go ahead with any feedback you may have from last week's episode.
You know, as everyone knows, I've used to be called Angry Matt. I'm now Zen Matt. Changed my whole mascot, followed by me. I got my hair growing out, everything. Zen Masters. Life's going strong. And then last week, I go to the gym early in the morning. Brett, you even do the nice thing of starting the podcast on at 6:30 in the morning for me. So I get a nice peaceful walk to the gym. And then all of a sudden it's just bashing after bashing of only my team. Everybody else is all, let's be super peaceful to the whole world. We don't want to interrupt. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Although some people had absolutely god-awful drafts. I might get into that in a minute. But anyway, my biggest take out of all this, I don't think anybody that you all really talked about at all, is the overall draft review. I don't think this was discussed, but apparently 2023 is the greatest NFL QB draft class of all time. There were 10 QBs taken in this draft. You had the obvious Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, I'll even say. Going to go up on that for a little bit. Will Levis, who knows? You have the evil empire who, you know, everybody says is the greatest team ever, and they've been the greatest team since I've been in the league. I'm sick and tired of it, if you can't tell. You know, they got Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts already on the team. They could have gotten somebody awesome at pick 8, like Zay Flowers, even Zach Charbonnet, and then some, you know, Marvin Mims, he's worth the first-round pick in 2024. He could have got him at pick 8. What's he do? He takes CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is going to be an awesome selection for that guy. Great. He's going to do really well sitting on the bench behind Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. And then we got Wampus Cats. They take pick 9. They're also going for the championship, but apparently neither one of these two teams want to win the championship because they just punted away their damn pick. The Wampus Cats take Will Levis at pick number 9. Following later on in the draft, they also take Aiden O'Connell, which almost a fight breaks out for poor Bustin with Nick, who had the worst draft I thought he had the worst draft overall, but you know, whatever. He drafts Aiden O'Connell. He also, breaking news, he drafts a guy that already has PEDs. He's testing Jake Hayner. And looking at the Wampus Cats, they currently have 8 QBs on their team. One of them is in IR, but they have 8 QBs. This is a 40-man roster, and they have 8 QBs on their team. It's incredible. Anyway, so also, what's more likely to happen with Stroud? Is he going to be the next fantasy stud of Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields? And Justin Fields could still be a potential bust. If he sucks this year, who knows what he does next year? He'll be sitting on the bench. He'll be a running back or some gadget player. Or is he most likely to be the next Malik Willis, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson? You can go on and on and on. Most likely, it's probably going to be one of those because most QBs do not pan out in the league. So out of the 10 QBs taking, I'd say 8 of them was a waste. And also, how many QBs normally play in one game each week? It's one QB. One QB plays for each team. You have maybe 48 play all season long. 48 QBs possible all season long. In comparison, you have several running backs, wide receivers, tight ends on the field every single week. These guys have a chance to play. 10 of these guys got drafted. 8 of them might not ever see the field. No, not 8. 7 might not. 6 might not ever see the field. Will Levis will see the field too. Who knows what he'll do though? He could be another Malik Willis. They draft another QB next year. So I just can't get over the drafts of the Wampus Cats and the Evil Empire. They just chose not to win. They don't want to win the championship. They could have gotten a team. And then if I'm just been some crazy angry person, if I am wrong on this QB take, for the love of God, please explain to me how a KDFL team with one of the top, potentially the most upside dynasty QB duos in the entire league is ranked the 11th best team. But who's that? The Zen Masters with Trevor Lawrence and Lamar Jackson. You know, we suck. Some hurtful comments that I heard where their offensive weapons are highly suspect, kind of weak offensive weapons, and the River Rats have a much better weapons. I don't know, Trevor, Lamar, Breece Hall, James Cook, George Pickens, Hollywood Brown, you know, future tight end one, Dalton Kincaid, and the future offensive rookie of the year, Deuce Vaughn. So much hate on that guy. You know, whatever. He's 5'5". He dominated in college football for 3 years. I don't have to see these stupid predictions or the draft board. We can choose our own. Just because he's picked 30 some on these rankings that nobody truly knows. You go back to previous years, nobody knows. Deuce Vaughn is going to be great, and I told Brett, Deuce Vaughn is going, at minimum, going to be the third best rookie running back in the league this year. The ETN trade, I needed a deeper team. You know, it's whatever. I don't like the backfield of the Jaguars. It's too much. I got to meet all the Jaguars running backs and pick up the signatures, and there was like 10 of them, 10 running backs that I met. There's too many of them. But yeah, that's about it. I'm done.
That was worth it.
That was beautiful.
And Matt, you can have spot 10. I'll go down to 11. I don't care.
That's my favorite part is the fight to not be. I want 10. Oh,
11. Hey, yeah, anything. I mean, the thing is, I was 11th last year. I trade everybody for Lamar and Trevor, and I'm still 11th. Whatever. It's whatever. We're see.
I like it. Right. I can't wait to see the comments from your rebuttal.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That was 6 minutes of gold.
Oh, that's good.
Right
there. Whatever.
6 minutes of zen.
That's the longest I've ever gone without talking, I think, on this thing, which is very welcome, I'm sure, by a lot of people. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Okay. So it's hard to follow that up. I will say I'm
zen for the rest of the night.
I was critical of the Deuce Vaughn selection, but I wasn't as critical because of one reason. You still got Mingo at 25. If that's reversed, I don't think if you get Mingo at 20 and you take Deuce Vaughn at 25, I don't think it's as, but we're essentially in the same place. So what's it matter? Type thing.
Exactly. Yeah, true. And Vaughn was the one guy that for whatever reason I wanted this year. And hey, if he sucks, he sucks. But he looks crazy out there.
No, you got to get your guy when you want him.
Yep.
The famous Hey, I re-listened. I've been in the KDFL podcast mood. I re-listened to the pilot episode. Now that we're in our fifth season, everybody, I highly recommend. It's on Spotify. It's not on YouTube. I might throw it up on YouTube with just the KDFL logo just to have it out there one time. But the classic line, if that's your guy, that's your guy. And there's no such thing as a reach in the Dynasty rookie draft. All right. Now, as far as the layout of this show, Detroit, anything else on last week's episode before we go on? Because I thought it was phenomenal.
No, I
thought that was a perfect rebuttal.
We had a lot of feedback. I thought it went pretty well, especially for the first show of the season.
Yeah.
So nothing really to add.
I said it was overall. After I yelled at you guys for about 20 comments, I said it was very good overall. So, it helped my workout that morning. So.
Matt does the reverse compliment sandwich, like you hear about in corporate America. You do something, work an insult in the middle, and then something you're doing great, work an opportunity in, then something you're doing great, it just flips it. It's perfect. All right, so. Now, obviously, this is a Dynasty Football podcast, and we're going to get into that stuff in a moment. But the NFL season, like I said, is upon us. So I want to go through and get our predictions. Now, we're not going to go super in depth. I know in years past, we've done this where we've showed every division and their standings, the win-loss total. But once I saw two people pick the Falcons at 2-15 last year, I went ahead and scrapped that. I'm just not even going to put myself through that opportunity for somebody to give me a Falcons record. So we're just going to do the 1 through 7 playoff teams and work through the playoffs through there. Just not really like each playoff matchup, but just basically the division winners. then the 3 wild cards, and then the AFC, NFC championship, and finally our Super Bowl. So, Detroit, go ahead and give me just your AFC 1 through 4, how you see it playing out.
All right. I'm going to go obviously with number 1, and I'm a believer. I think Matt has said this before. The NFL is scripted. I think everything is lining up for the Jets, Jets.
1 seed?
Yes, I love that defense. That defense was so good last year. I mean, the Jets pretty much were in every game. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to make a huge difference. I think the NFL wants that story. They added Dalvin Cook. So I'm going Jets, Bengals, Chiefs, Jags. That's my 1 through 4.
So those are your division winners as well, obviously.
Yes.
Jets, Bengals, Chiefs, Jags. All right. Give me, do you want to do NFC now? Or do you want to do the whole 1 through 7 AFC? How do you want to do it, Detroit? You pick, buddy.
Well, let's just do 1 through 7.
All right, go ahead and give me your 5 or your 3 wild card teams in the AFC.
My 3 wild card teams is the Ravens are 5. The Bills are going to drop a little bit this year. They're going to fall down to number 6. And Matt's favorite team to hate on, I think, the Los Angeles Chargers will be number 7.
I started to write Raiders.
Say the Raiders.
I started to write Raiders. I wrote an R and crossed it out. All right, Matt, take us through your AFC, Matt.
Okay, so I did that the website where you pick every single team.
Okay.
Every single week and I did it pretty fast, but it's just who I thought was going to win each time. So as homer as it is, I got the Jags as the 1 seed. The Jaguars is the 1 seed. Their schedule does not look bad at all. They were 13-4, but the 2 seed, which was also 13-4, I don't know what the tiebreaker were, is along with Detroit, the Jets, the Jets.
Jets are the 2 seed. How am I going to come in? Go ahead.
The number 3 team that I hate, one of the teams that I hate the most, the Chargers, are winning the AFC West this year. Chiefs, I think Chiefs are they're older, they're a little banged up. Kelsey, who knows how many games he misses. I think Chargers will win the division. The Chiefs cannot win the division forever. And then the Bengals are winning the AFC North. You know, the wild card winners. So we have 3 of the 4 same teams. Wild card winners. The Chiefs clearly going to be it. And then the Bills and the Ravens.
All right. I like that. Peter Prisco was on part of my take this morning and picked a 13-4 Jags as the number 1 seed. They gave him quite a bit of flack for it, but they picked them as the overall number 1 seed, and I won't go into anything else until we go into more. So my division winners, I still have the mentality of you have to be knocked off the throne before you just give up the title. So I do have the Chiefs as the overall 1 seed. I do have the Jags as the 2 seed because of the schedule. It is very tasty, boys.
Wow.
And second year, Doug Peterson all the way through. It's going to be a beautiful thing. They've made vast improvements to the offense. This isn't the homer pick it sounds like, I promise you. But I just see weapons after weapons being added to this offense. 3 seed. I think people are way too low on the Bills. I think the Jets are the flashy team. Even the Dolphins are a little flashy, but the Bills seem to have been forgotten about some this year. So I have them as the winner of the East. And then I have the Bengals as the 4 seed getting the AFC North. My wild card, I have the Ravens coming in as the 5th seed. And then I have the Jets as a 6th seed. So I have them. I can't believe I'm the lowest on the Jets. I have huge concerns about the offensive line with a Rodgers that is older. Like, I think that is where you separate the elite from the good teams. So I have very big concerns about that. And I'm trying to not give in to hard knock hype, even though I think I'm one of the only ones in the KDFL that have watched every episode so far. And then finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't throw the Chargers in as the 7th seed. They made it last year. And they were pretty battered and bruised. They got embarrassed in the playoffs, obviously, but they did make it. So I have the Chargers being the 2nd team out of the AFC West. Detroit, take us through your NFC.
All right, in the NFC, I have the Philadelphia Eagles returning as the number 1 seed. I have the San Francisco 49ers as the 2 seed. I think that defense will carry them again. Number 3, I have the NFC North Detroit Lions.
This guy.
Yeah. As the 4 seed, I have the Atlanta Falcons.
Ah,
Their division.
eat it.
You're drunk.
Eat it.
Psycho.
And
It's like a kiss of death.
then the 5 seed, I have the New York Giants, the Dallas Cowboys at number 6, and the Minnesota Vikings at 7.
Oh, you know what that means, Matthew?
Super fans gonna be happy.
No, well, yes, but
yes.
that I know what that means. That some team is not on that list that I think is about to be on this
Hey,
list.
he's
Yeah,
crazy.
1 through 7. Matthew.
The 49ers, number 1 seed. That it doesn't matter who the QB is there. They got so many offensive weapons. The defense is great. Their schedule, I don't know. That they 1 seed. Detroit, you're crazy. 2 seed very easily. Almost the 1 seed this year is the New Orleans Saints.
Gracious,
basically
that's
a
a
guarantee.
ridiculousness.
The Saints
All
are
right.
the 2 seed. They're going to be dominant this year. Great. I don't know how this happened, but I have the Cowboys winning the NFC East. So yeah. I thought I picked the Eagles to win basically every single game, but I apparently didn't. The Cowboys are winning the NFC East, and the Vikings, Skull Nation, is winning the
Yes.
NFC North. And
The return of
then
Skull Matt.
Yes. We need a KDFL team, by the way. Can't wait.
We
to
do. We
argue
gotta
that.
get on that.
The next AFC team that I was used to root for. The NFC wild card winner or wild card will be the Eagles. They had to have been the same record pretty much as Cowboys, but they're the wild card. The Detroit Lions as a wild card winner, and the Seattle Seahawks.
I see a lot of people putting the Seahawks in that 7th spot, so I like it, but not that much because my number 1 NFC seed is the San Francisco 49ers. I just have to believe if you get those Cardinals twice a year and you get the now depleted Rams twice a year, you're going to be set. You're going to hit the ground running. I too have the Cowboys winning the East, and they're the 2 seed. I have the Vikings as the 3 seed. Again, I like to be contrary to public opinion. I think people have written off the Vikings because they won so many close 1-score games, but they did add Jordan Addison. So, and that's a better upgrade from a beat up old Thielen. And number 4, of course, going back, baby. My Atlanta Falcons are finally back on top of the NFC South Division where they belong. And then my 5 through 7, I have the Eagles as the 5 seed, the Lions as the 6 seed, and then I'm sorry, Matthew, but the New York Giants as the 7 seed. I don't trust Dennis Allen. Carr's fine, Olave's great.
You're crazy.
I don't trust Dennis Allen. Don't trust him at all. All right.
We need a wager for this.
I think we have already bet this season. We have bet this season already 4 or 5 different ways. We could keep it rolling. That's fine. I don't want to do just straight not make the playoffs.
You've already pointed out the Saints, the first 6 games, Saints defense is the team to get. And they're starting out 6-0. And then you know who they play week 7?
Yeah.
The Jaguars. Thursday Night Football. They can both be 6-0.
Listen to this.
Incredible.
I've heard this all year. All year long, or all off season long, and they touched on Good Morning Football. The Saints, everybody talks about their schedule so simple, yada yada yada. Guess who also has their schedule, but an easier version? The Falcons have their schedule, except they get the 4 seeds instead of the Saints getting the 3 seeds or the 2 seeds or whatever.
Who's that QB again? Who's the QB on the Falcons?
Desmond Ridder. Don't forget it.
Okay. All right, I'm good.
By the way, hurt me when Barker benched Ridder after 6 games. Just gonna say it. All right. Detroit, take us through give us your AFC championship.
Okay, well,
let's do both championships just so we don't ping pong a lot.
Okay, I do want to start this out with. I'm going with the number 1 seed, the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh wait, I should have went with the AFC, but we'll start with the NFC. The Philadelphia Eagles taking on a team that hasn't won a playoff game as of today in 11,567 days. That is the Detroit Lions. Is my
such a
NFC
kiss of death.
championship, the Eagles and the Lions. In the AFC, I have the Jets and the Bengals. I don't even have the Chiefs making it.
All right.
There.
Matt, go ahead and do
I'm
the
up.
similar. Yeah.
So the NFC, I have the 49ers, the 1 seed, facing the 2 seed, the New Orleans Saints, in the
Jesus
NFC Championship game.
Louise.
It's going to happen. So, and then the AFC Championship game is going to be the 1 seed, the Jaguars, facing the 2 seed, the New York Jets.
Jags and Jets. Jags and Jets and
Jags and
Niners and
Jets,
Saints.
49ers and Saints. It's going to be an amazing
I
Final
love
Four.
that. What an amazing. All right. I wanted to avoid these two matchups, but every way I did this is how I came out. It's a little chalky feeling, but I have. I mean, it's hard for me to see another way around this. I have the Bills and Chiefs. Oh, sorry. The Niners and Cowboys meeting in the NFC Championship this year. So I do have the Niners and that rematch of the beautiful Zeke play. Let us never let that play slip from our memories as long as we're on this earth. And then I kind of just already said it. The Bills and Chiefs, another rematch. I feel like we're just gonna keep doing Chiefs, Bills, and Bengals different combos until a third team breaks or a fourth team breaks through. Could be the Jags. Just say it. All right. Detroit, give us your Super Bowl matchup and winner.
My Super Bowl matchup is the Philadelphia Eagles back in the Super Bowl taking on the Jets.
Eagles, Jets.
And I am going with their first Super Bowl win since Super Bowl III, the New York Jets.
This guy. I mean,
I just picked the Jets and the
all the
Lions
hype.
to the Final Four.
Yes.
Two horrible franchises.
All right, Super Bowl. The Super Bowl teams, of course, I'll say the Jags and Saints. I'm not saying them. It's not the Jags and the Saints.
I thought for sure
They're making
that's
the
what we were doing.
championship games. Making the championship games. It's going to be a great season. I'll be happy with championship losses. The Super Bowl is going to be the Jets versus the 49ers. And two smart men think exactly alike. The Jets are winning.
Oh my
all
God.
Aaron Rodgers. I want to get the matching tattoo right here too when he does win it all this year. It's like Detroit said. It's scripted. Jets win it. Aaron Rodgers is God. New York, they might burn the stadium down out of celebrating. He'll be the super God. Nobody will remember Joe Namath if Aaron Rodgers wins.
It's set up.
Super Bowl
for
the Jets.
It is set up for this.
It is.
Okay.
Whatever.
So
Jets.
You guys are playing in perfectly to my mindset with this season. Because it's so set up for this is exactly why it's not going to happen. So I have in the Super Bowl from the NFC, I have the Niners making it to the Super Bowl. And then I have the Buffalo Bills that were everybody's darling that have now been forgotten about going to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. So I have, because I think it's perfect. I think there was too much pressure on the Bills. That pressure seemed to shift it to New York. So I think the Bills can sneak in there and win the Super Bowl for Buffalo, which will also be a lot of town burning down, momentous occasion for the Buffalo Bills. They finally break through. There we go.
Hey, if they break through, I bet you it's due to a pretty good weapon they have on their offense that is on a currently weak offense. James Cook, yeah, weak.
He's wasting away in Nocatee. Shout out Jimmy Buffett. R.I.P.
And Dalton
Jimmy Buffett
sucks too. Apparently, some
accident.
super weak offensive weapons. So winning the Super Bowl, but they're weak.
Speaking of predicting a big season for Mr. James Cook, I don't know if that's in the cards or not in these predictions, but I asked these fine gentlemen and the fine GMs of throughout the KDFL. It's bold prediction time. I kind of saw this when I was playing the day show and reviewing other shows. I was like, crap. Apparently, this is the hotness. Everybody does a bold prediction show the day before the season. I should have foreseen that, but we'll follow along suit. We're going to do one bold prediction for a player or situation on our fantasy team in the KDFL, and then we're each going to do one bold prediction for a team or for a player that's not on our teams. And I also asked some members of the KDFL to give me theirs. And I also have a few crowd submissions that I'm going to bounce off you guys to kind of see what you might think. We'll rattle through them, but it'll be good. Let's get the selfishness out of the way first. Let's do our teams first. So Detroit, go ahead. What are we seeing that's bold for the River Rats this year?
Well, I kind of
bolder the better.
I kind of cheated on this one.
Makes sense.
Because I combined mine with another team. And I'm going to start out with saying Bryce Young is not only going to outscore Anthony Richardson.
Oh, I didn't. Wait, got to take shots now.
So is CJ Stroud.
There you go, the QB3.
They're going to both outscore Anthony Richardson this year. That is my bold take.
I don't like it, but I like the boldness.
I don't like it.
It has to be bold.
It's got to be bold.
That's right.
All right.
So what let's
hear about the Zen Masters then.
No, well, my bold prediction, I don't think it's a bold prediction at all until I heard last week's KDFL conversation. I mean, I could name several on my team as bold predictions, apparently. But I'll just name Breece Hall. I mean, Breece Hall is going to come back super, super strong. He's so many people are sleeping on him. I mean, the first couple weeks, does the first couple weeks of the season win you a fantasy league or anything? No, it doesn't. But he might start out a little slow, but by the end of the year, he's going to be a top 5 running back. The dude looked incredible last year.
Top 5.
Yeah, he had the injury and stuff, but I mean, the people that have the injuries, they come back better than ever. With modern day, whatever they give.
Are you scared at all with Dalvin Cook in the?
No, Dalvin Cook is old and he's probably going to fight his kid or something and get suspended again, or something will happen. And I have no concern at all.
There's one of your teasers, Brett.
Every team has 2 running backs. They all have 2 running backs. Breece Hall, it's Dalvin Cook. He'll be there, but he's older, and Breece Hall he'll be incredible again. I'm not concerned about him at all.
Why is this for the second straight year? Remember we said this last year. Breece Hall will start off slow. Why do the Jets get tough starting schedules every year? Like it's back to back because we said the exact same thing. I know, but they still have a tough schedule when they start.
No, I don't know. Yeah,
let me see.
They're in a tough division.
I'm looking at old Conklin schedule here. Dallas, New England, Kansas City, Denver. That's a tough defense. Philadelphia, and then the bye, and then the New York Giants. Those are tough defenses off the gate. Yeah. Like that's what in the world. But it's actually not bad because if he's still rehabbing during that, I mean, you're not losing because he's got great matchups on the other half. So
I mean, if you watched all of Hard Knocks, you would have seen he looks incredible. He looks great. He'll be. I mean, you might have Breece and Dalvin out there at the same time. Breece was lining up his slot in Hard Knocks. I don't know that he'll actually do that, but no.
I like it. Okay.
All right. What's yours, Brett?
Mega Powers went a little abstract this year. Okay, we hit on it last year. Last episode about my championship was won on running backs, and now I've shifted way more focus on wide receivers. So with that being said, I think the Mega Powers are going to have. This is one of my previous LeBron here. Not 1, not 2, but 3 wide receiver ones on this team. It means top 12 wide receiver. I think we have Devonta Smith, Calvin Ridley, and my super surprise, it could be Drake London, but I think it's going to be Jahan Dotson in there, right in there as wide receiver 11 or 12. And Ridley comes back to, you saw him running those routes. Zay Jones looked like he was stuck in mud running next to Calvin Ridley. So I think Ridley bounces back. I think we got Devonta Smith as top 6. Ridley is 6 to 10, and Jahan Dotson gets in there 11 to 12. 3 wide receiver ones for the Mega Powers. Beautiful. Pretty bold. Nice. That's pretty out there. I mean, people have to move up, people move down, right? That's how it works.
Yeah. That's pretty bold.
Okay.
It's not going to be close, but that's bold.
I don't appreciate you nod along smiling and then say, I don't think you're close. Detroit, give us one from somebody else in the league. Give us the team.
I had 2 written down. I'm gonna go with the Renegades. And my bold prediction for them is their wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, will finish with more fantasy points than Justin Jefferson this year.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, for some reason I had in my head, you were going to say Jamar Chase.
No. That's bold.
I like that a lot. I mean, I know I'm huge on Garrett Wilson this year. So I agree with that bold take.
The other one I written down that I didn't say was Lamar Jackson's going to be a top 3 fantasy quarterback.
Yeah,
Top
he might
three.
be. My terrible, weak offense.
Just fueling the fire.
My bold prediction. One player on another team. The Kanawha County Kings. I love this guy. I think Brett knows. Chris Olave.
Oh, okay.
Finished. I thought this was too bold, but after listening to Brett's top 3 wide receiver ones, I don't think this is bold at all. Kanawha County Kings, Chris Olave finishes as the 1.1 wide receiver in the league this year. He's going to dominate with MVP Derek Carr at QB.
Wow.
One of Carr's best wide receivers he's ever had. He's got Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper. Carr absolutely loves his wide receiver 1 guys. Nelson Aguilar, Michael Crabtree. I mean, the list goes on. Carr makes these guys, the wide receiver 1s, he makes them awesome. And Olave to the moon this year. Wide receiver 1 for next year's fantasy football season.
Nice.
I hate to say this, but he was on my list of who I was going to. Let me phrase it like this. If I didn't do mine about my team about wide receivers, Olave finishing very high was going to be what I went with. But I didn't want to go wide receiver. So as much as I hate it, I kind of agree with it because the air yard. Remember his dumb air yard stat last year that he dominated in air yards. He just was nobody accurate or throwing him the ball.
I mean,
if they can click on that,
I hope you guys are right because Derek Carr is a river rat. So
that's true.
Yeah. All right.
Some dummy gave him to you.
This is a happy accident. This is a happy accident. Call it Dunbar loyalty. I don't know. I'm staying in Kanawha County with the Kings, and I have a quarterback that's a little bit that's not being talked about very much. And I've loved what they've done in the offseason, and I think it's time he takes that next step. I have Kenny Pickett as a QB1 this season. He breaks through and finishes in the top 12 of QBs. I think he's got the weapons with Pickens, with Deontay Johnson. That's a little bit underrated. He's got the 2 running backs now he can throw to, and Freiermuth will take that next step. And remember, guys, my favorite phrase about quarterbacks, Kenny Pickett runs more than you think. Remember what he was famous for? Remember what put him on the map? The run and the fake slide. Kenny Pickett.
He's got a highly suspect weapon of George Pickens.
Highly suspect, but he'll drag him through. Mr. No Separation Pickens.
According to you all, is what I'm saying.
Oh.
I know. He'll grab him through. Mr. Again, No Separation George Pickens. That's why every catch looks like a highlight catch.
Hey, he got like a 20-some yard touchdown in the preseason, and he ran it.
I love Pickens. My only concern is Pickett's. Is he going to be the real deal?
Which one? Pickens or Pickett?
Pickett.
Oh, Pickett's real deal.
To me, it just comes down to the quarterback.
They did look amazing in the preseason, but then it's also the question. They were trying where other teams trying. The Falcons got destroyed in the first quarter.
We know. Let's not live in the past.
Well, I mean, that's the only game I really watched, but I mean, who says all of the games weren't like that? And the Steelers are pedal to the metal, and then the rest of the teams have their B string in. What does that tell you? Who knows? It's at least some confidence going into the season, though.
Yeah. All right. Now, let's read off some other ones. From the Evil Empire, the commission himself. I feel like he's trying to go after my heartstrings on this one because he knows I've been very clear about my love of this player. I may or may not have compared him to Deshaun Jackson over this weekend in Nocatee with Matt. Jalen Hyatt finishes as a wide receiver 2. So top 24 wide receivers. Jalen, the speedster, Hyatt. Thoughts? No chance? Chance? What do we think?
I mean, the everybody's sleeping on my guy Wandell. Wandell will be good.
Somehow we always go back
to
the Zen Master.
I'm saying no. The Giants keep talking about Hyatt. I keep hearing it from you all. He's a rookie. He ran past Sauce Gardner.
Yep.
Like again though, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
He didn't even catch anything against them. What the guy runs fast, so he's a get out of here. That's crazy. Crazy take.
I don't know.
All right.
But the Giants have other weapons. Saquon, is Daniel Jones going to be that great? That's why I'm concerned about the Falcons. Desmond Ritter has to be
It's
really
a lot of mouths to
good
feed.
for all these players that are supposed to be good on the team, and I don't see it. Are the Giants going to do it? Or the Falcons going to do it? That's a lot of players that are supposedly going to get all these fantasy points by QBs that that are questionable. And Daniel Jones looked pretty good last year, but he didn't throw. I don't know how many yards he threw for, but a lot of that was rushing. So,
Joy, what's your thought? Any thoughts on Hyatt?
I don't see it. I don't
Well,
see it
bold. I
being
mean,
top
they are
24.
bold predictions. They're bold for a reason. All right. All right. Let me interest you in Wake Forest, perhaps, because I think this one. Oh, for some reason, every team most teams wanted to talk their quarterbacks. So this one I also like, but I didn't like it as much as mine. That's why I went with mine. Lumberjacks. Sam Howell, QB1, finishes in the top 12 of QBs this season.
I had it written down for when we go over our predictions later. Yeah,
I do too.
I'm kind of I want to see. I want to see how he plays out. I'm anxious to see. I don't think the Commanders are as bad as everyone thinks they are either. They got some weapons on the offense, at least on the outside.
They do, especially on the outside.
Yeah, so I can see him being top 18 or something.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Top 20, not top 12.
Yeah, no.
Top 20.
I mean,
still
not terrible.
I guess
but not top 12. He did look pretty good in the Monday Night Football preseason game, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it's bold. So there you go.
It's bold. I can't bash it too hard because I can't just sit here and beat the drum for Dotson and think the quarterback that's throwing him the ball isn't going to produce. So, I think no, this is the one that I just messaged back the word spicy in all caps. Back to Kanawha County one more time, where the Kings have predicted this is awful, poor sportsmanship from a trade behavior standpoint that their boy Matt Corral overtakes Mac Jones as the QB1 in New England. Does anybody see this as a possibility?
No. Not anytime soon.
Saying that. No.
If he does, it'll be when the Patriots are like 1-6 or something, and it won't matter.
Yeah. That's the only way he's getting in there.
Yeah, I mean, Bill O'Brien's there for Mac Jones. They got rid of their other two QBs. I think they had some faith in Mac Jones.
Okay.
That's definitely bold.
Definitely bold. It is, as I said, spicy. All right, now let's see. We got two more from the league, and then we'll hit the crowdsourcing ones here. Let's see. How about the pharmacy or the Sinners? Woo, throwback name. The St. Albans Sinners. Once again, he just tilts me with every move he makes. Doesn't feel very bold, but maybe it's bold. Russell Wilson, top 10 QB. Peyton rights the ship, and Russell Wilson is a top 10 QB in Dynasty this year, or in fantasy.
Not a chance.
Oh man,
I don't see that.
I mean, that's the least bold one that I've heard so far, though.
That is the least bold.
You have Sean Payton, and Sean Payton. I mean,
But Wilson wasn't even good in his
great.
last couple of years in Seattle, was he?
Yeah, he was good. He was always good in Seattle, wasn't he?
He was bad.
Oh,
I think he was bad 2 years ago, but good the year before.
I did trade him when he was in Seattle, so
he must have
just
done
annoyed
wrong.
me. He was hit or
Consistent.
miss. He wasn't super consistent. Yeah.
Russell
But, I think he
Wilson
was still
last
pretty
year.
Good.
Where's he at? Russell Wilson. I think we did this on it. He ranked, QB 16 last year, and it was about as bad as it could have went. So top 10 isn't that.
Yeah, we did talk about this.
End,
yeah.
So.
But how about the clip? This lets me segue to the clip with Peyton about what they're supposed to be gloves off with each other right now, or at least he told him to stop. Have you seen this, Detroit? He told him, stop going around kissing babies, worrying about your brand. You're not a politician. You're not running for office. Play quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I like it.
because apparently
I like
he was
that.
given so much leeway in Denver. Because you look at Hackett, the dude's a nice
Yeah.
guy, but he's a pushover
Oh,
and
you better keep
aloof.
his name out of your mouth.
So, I
Aaron
mean, yeah, I
Rodgers
know.
hears that.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me started on Peyton either. Because the guy that has Kevin James play him in the movie about him being suspended called somebody else on working on their brand. Just saying. Okay.
I mean,
So
he's a deadbeat movie in that. A deadbeat
deadbeat
dad in
dad?
that movie.
Well,
Yes. He only saw his kid because he got suspended by the NFL. That's all I got out of that movie.
It still feels like a Saturday Night Live skit. Kevin James and Sean Payton in the movie about him being suspended. All right.
Actually, wasn't that bad though. I didn't mind the movie.
Refuse. All right. We're gonna stay in Denver, but we're gonna go in the KDFL to Dogtown with the Dobermans, who have predicted another Bronco resurgence. Javonte Williams, top 10 running back this season. Obviously, I don't even want to tell you where he finished last year. It was a wasted season, hurt all year.
Yeah.
What do we think?
I don't see top 10. I do. I know a lot of people are down on him.
They are.
I think he's going to bounce back, though. I can see him being like top 15. They're going to hand him. They're going to get him the ball.
I hate the Broncos too much to make a decision. I don't know. Hopefully he sucks. So
I do think people are too down on him, but I also think it's weird how fast he's come back. It seems like it's been, and he was not supposed to be playing already. So, and Huron's getting a lot of love for whatever reason.
Is. Yeah.
It's very strange
he
to me.
He is getting a lot. But he was pretty good for the Bengals, right?
He was, but he was good in like a fill-in. I mean, I guess. But so that's interesting to me. Let's go to some crowdsourced ones. All right.
All right.
Crowdsourced ones. Let's see here. Let me pull these up. Number one, Brock. These are a lot of these. Brock Purdy finishes as a QB1. Do we think Shanahan's system can elevate him this high?
What do you mean by
given the opportunity?
What do you mean
Number
by QB1?
Top 12 QB.
Top 12?
No. He won't be given the opportunity to throw that much to be a top 12.
I think
I don't see that.
I think we've overblown the love for Brock Purdy because I think he exceeded expectations because he exceeded expectations for a last overall pick. It wasn't like he was doing 350-3 routinely or anything like that. He looked phenomenal. Obviously blew expectations off out of the water for what he was drafted. We've never seen that from the last overall pick. But I feel like this isn't Trey Lance bitterness. It may be a little Trey Lance bitterness, but I feel like we've gotten a little bit ahead of ourselves. Okay, we have. Go ahead.
It too. I think the NFL has got tape on him now. So this is his second season. Let's see what he can do. I'm not sold on him. I think he's a team manager basically. I mean, he'll keep you in your games.
Yeah,
I agree with Matt that it's almost gonna be like the Ritter effect, where he's not going to be asked. Like, it's not going to be that. Right. It's not going to be Brock, go light him up. Like, look at these games just real quick. These are his 6 big starts. 15 points, 23, 18, 16, 18, 22. It's not world beater. I mean, world beater numbers. But if he progresses, we'll see. That's the idea, is that you get better from one year to the next. But he was out for most of the offseason. We'll see. All right, next we have a big fan of the Gamblers. And I love that Matt hit on this earlier. Marvin Mims ends up as the best wide receiver in this rookie class. If that happens, the Gamblers are vindicated for that first round pick.
No.
Man, not happening. He hates the Broncos.
Not happening. I mean, did that come from the Gamblers?
It came from the crowd.
Oh, okay.
Did he act made like it sound a crowd member?
Yeah, you made it
I
sound
say he's
like
a big fan of the Gamblers.
Oh, okay.
Are you sure it's not the owner?
I would have announced it as the Gamblers if it was the Gamblers.
Was it that Romo kid?
It was not. It was not Romo Hudson. It was not.
Okay.
I don't know. What's the company? Jackson Smith. He's back. Quentin Johnston. and what's the other
My
big one?
guy,
Jordan
Zay
Addison.
Flowers.
Zay
Flowers.
Flowers. There's so many
I
options.
mean,
I like the
yeah.
boldness. I like when people go bold, like definitive statement.
Right.
So I do like that. All right. Let's see. A fan of the. We got a couple more, and then we'll move along. A fan of Dogtown, Joe Burrow, 45 TDs this season.
Wow. That's a lot.
Let me see where that ranks as far as what he did last year. Let's see here. Joe Burrow. I don't know if I have his whole season. I do not. What do we think while I pull this up?
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
35 TDs last year. 10 more TDs?
I mean, he's another year in the league. He gets better every year. He's still super young. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
I could see it happening. It wouldn't surprise me.
I think Higgins is going to play out of his daggone mind this year. I think
too.
a bold
like
prediction would be
Higgins
outscores Chase. I really do.
Yeah.
Would not be
I mean,
outside the
if he
realm.
does, then the 45 touchdowns it's possible.
I find myself picking on Chase. I don't know why. Maybe it's the Devontae Smith pick. I do. I thought you were going to say, what's his name? Finishes better than Chase when you said, or Garrett Wilson when you said Jefferson. I've learned that about myself. A little self-reflection here on the KDFL podcast. I find myself picking on Jamar Chase a little bit. Might be the jealousy coming back through. All right. Hold on. One last one. Let's see. Isaiah Hodgins. I believe this is of the Giants. Let's see. This is a deep fan of the Kanawha County Kings. This person does their study. Let me find Isaiah here. Yes, New York Giants wide receiver finishes as a wide receiver 2 in the top 24. It's getting crowded now. We got Hyatt, we got Wandale, we got Waller.
That's why I'm looking at the depth chart right now.
We got Sterling. We got Slayton, I believe, is still there.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I don't see that.
He's their wide receiver 1 according to the depth chart.
Really?
Isaiah Hodgins.
Darius Slayton, Paris Campbell, Wandale.
Paris Campbell's there.
Jalen Hyatt, then Sterling Shepard.
This fan is deep in their Kings history. If they can betray Paris Campbell to now go for Isaiah Hodgins. Much respect to this
is
very
he really their
studied
number
fan.
1?
I do not think so. I think Waller is their number 1,
chart.
just for the record. But
Because
wide receiver,
Waller's going to go be a rapper and dumbass won't show up.
We don't want to get started again. No faith.
And his freaking face tattoos.
I only say that because ESPN only has him scoring projected like 106 points a share.
Yeah, Hodgins is their number 1 wide receiver listed on the Giants website and the ESPN's website.
Wow. Okay.
Well, you know what I always say. Once you go ahead, Detroit.
I was gonna say we didn't get any questions about any river rats.
Did not get any river rats.
River
rats are in the grindstone.
Masters either.
Nose to the grindstone.
Terrible.
Now, I will say this. It's what I've always said my whole podcasting career. Once we get talking Isaiah Hodgins, it's time to move on to the next segment. So, fellas, we are here. It's week 1 in the KDFL. Let's get to our week 1 predictions. I fired it up so intense. I want to make sure that's where we're at, and it is where we're at. So once again, I'll say the game. Throw it to Detroit. Give us a player you're studying close for this game. Maybe a prediction about him if you have it, and then a pick. We'll start off and then go to Matt, and then back to me, and then on to the next. We'll start off with the Dobermans. It's our KDFL Thursday night game. It's coming to you this evening, live from Marmette, who is still recovering from their nonstop 24/7 activities that is Labor Day weekend in the beautiful town of Marmette. They have one more finale in them as they host the Dobermans in the KDFL 2023 kickoff. Detroit, take it away.
Yes, this matchup I have is a future 2 playoff teams. I already talked about last week about the Midnight Riders. I have them winning it all this year. But looking at these 2 teams, the thing that stuck out to me was Najee Harris for the Midnight Riders. And I'm curious to see how he's going to play against that Niners defense. So that's just something I'm looking forward to. So yes, I'm taking the Midnight Riders. I'm
Do you
sorry.
have a pick? Okay.
I'm
real
sorry
quick,
about that. Sorry about
real quick. If you happen to have any stats, Detroit, you feel free to
Oh,
throw those
yes,
out. If you happen to have
yes.
it, you may or may not. I don't know. But if you happen to, you
Totally
look like a
forgot,
man
man.
with a stat on his brain. So if you have those, you can throw those out.
About that.
Well, you're burying
Okay.
my
So
clever hidiness here.
I put this together a couple weeks ago. I wanted to go back and look at the KDFL history of how teams had done on week 1. And going into not everybody played the same amount of games because we've had new people throughout the years. But for week 1, the Dobermans are 5-6.
Ooh.
And the Midnight Riders, believe it or not, are 2-9 on week 1s. Of course,
It's because
because they started their first 6 games in this history of this against Jeremy's or against
the Evil Empire's
team, which I forgot that we used to play the same team every week.
Oh yeah,
week 1 we'd always
those were the days.
So, yeah, and so it's just a little history facts there for you. And I am taking.
You know what it is, and I already alluded to it. You can't party that hard for 4 straight days and then expect to be ready for week 1. I don't care if you're home or not. It's too much to ask of a 40-man roster. They got to get their heads right earlier than that. This is unbelievable. All right, so each game you'll give us some stats on week 1. How about these teams? How about
also about the Dobermans real quick. They broke a 5-game losing streak on week 1 last year. So
remember that very impressive season for the Dobermans last year. I believe it was 13-1, and then fell short in the playoffs. But good season for the Dobermans. So yes, they started off very hot. Matt, what you got for us on the Dobermans visiting the Marmette Midnight Riders?
All right, Dobermans, they have a really solid team. Just looking at it, they cannot quite compete with the powerhouse Midnight Riders, led by the freshly acquired Justin Fields and Najee Harrison, saying hopefully the Midnight Riders send thank you cards to the Evil Empire and Wampus Cats owners for giving up this season.
Again, one last dig. They phoned it in. 4 guys took quarterbacks at the end of round 1. It was a cardinal sin.
And then traded away 2 solid players to the Midnight Riders, and I ranked the Midnight Riders as 1.
That is true.
So
that is true
in my rankings. So
right now, I'm looking at this. I have to believe, especially after being inspired by the Detroit stat he gave us about the Marmette Midnight Riders rough starts, I believe they're going to turn it around. I believe they're getting used to the Vegas party-like atmosphere on Marmette on Labor Day weekend. So the main thing I'm looking at, how are the Saints going to handle Alvin Kamara's first 3 games with him out? What's that Jamal Williams split versus Kendra Miller? What's that look like in the Dennis Allen Saints offense? But regardless of that, I'm going with the Midnight Riders to get the W. Next up, we take our first trip to the beautiful City of Gardens, Dunbar, as the inner city matchup. The Kanawha County Kings take on the Roxana Renegades. I'm sure you have some stats as well here, Detroit. I'm just going to keep teeing you up.
I do. The Renegades at home here, they are tied for the best record in week 1 in KDFL history at 9-2. They opened up their first 5 years with wins, all against his BFF, the Gamblers. The Kings are 4-7 in their history with 2 of those wins against the Lumberjacks. Is the person in this matchup that I'm looking for the most is I'm kind of wanting to see for the Renegades what David Montgomery's role is going to be with him and Gibbs in that backfield. I'm kind of curious. I'm hoping it's not that much since I have Gibbs. But with that said, I'm taking the Renegades to continue their hot streak in week 1.
All right, Matt.
All right, the Kings travel to the Renegades as a 25-point underdog week 1. I think that might be the biggest one of the week. Kings make this a much closer game than expected, though, with the powerhouse running back duo of Josh Jacobs and Travis Etienne. 2 great running backs for any team. But the Renegades are too strong with Tua and Geno over the Kings, Kenny Pickett and Brock Purdy. So Renegades win this one.
or Kenny Pickett not getting off to the start I had envisioned, but he can still light it up in a loss. That's fine.
49ers too. Who knows?
Yeah. Let's see here. What did I have? Oh, I'm going a little bit homer with my what I'm watching for in this particular game, because I got a report this week that Kyle Pitts could be 4th in the Falcons in terms of targets on a weekly basis, which seems absolutely absurd and outrageous. I guess you could do Bijan and Drake London. Matt Collins is coming in and doing this apparently. I don't even know, but I am watching to see because he never got to play with Ritter. Kyle Pitts was out before Ritter came in, and Ritter was not afraid to throw over the middle of the field. So I'm definitely looking to see Kyle Pitts' involvement. It's year 3. It's time. We have to see what this guy was drafted for, number 4 overall. With that being said, the Renegades are just too strong. They were my championship pick. I'm not going to take them to have a loss in week 1. So give me the Renegades over the Kings. Next up, we're going down south. Right here in beautiful, sunny Melbourne, Florida, as the Melbourne Mega Powers host the Wake Forest Lumberjacks. Detroit, take it away.
Yes, the Lumberjacks are actually 7-4. They on week 1, so they have a winning record. Your Mega Powers, Brett. If only we played another year, since we're in season. This is actually season 12, so you only had 11 games. Your record is 5-6.
5-6 had to be. I knew it.
Which is on par
I
with you.
I knew it, dude. I knew it. Unbelievable.
Looking at the matchup, I hate ESPN's projections, by the way. They have this as a close game. I don't see it. The guy, we kind of touched on it, Dotson for your Mega Powers. And I wrote down, I believe he's going to have a really good year and is going to be a top 25 wide receiver. And I'm taking the Mega Powers. Sorry.
Lumberjacks put up a much stronger fight than anyone anticipated with their new QB addition of Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs. Fresh on the press.
But they come up short week 1 against the Mega Power team, led by the dominant performance of the returning wide receiver, Calvin Ridley.
Beautiful, beautiful. My main thing, this is the first time when I'm looking at what these teams are going to do. I am most interested in this matchup. Ridley is a great one to pick. Dotson, of course. I'm very interested to see if Ron Rivera is really going to get out of his own way. He's one of the most frustrating coaches in the league and really let Sam Howell sling this football. I'm very interested to see. It's Arizona. It should be a test where you get to push the boundaries and really push your offense if you want to really see what you got in them. Please unleash Sam Howell. Frustrating Riverboat Ron. But yes, I have the Mega Powers getting the W and improving to a record of 500 in opening day at 6-6, right where we belong. Next up, we have the Wampus Cats. Traveling to St. Albans to take on the Sinners, Detroit.
Yes, the Wampus Cats joined the league in 2019. They are 2-2 in the week 1. The Sinners are 7-4. For the player that I'm looking forward to in this game is J.K. Dobbins. I want to see what his usage is going to be. If this guy can stay healthy, I do like the week 1 matchup against the Texans. So with that saying, I'm going to take the Wampus Cats over the Sinners.
All right, Matt.
Oh yeah, Wampus Cats. I don't want to point it out again, but it's in my notes. So only been able to put one of their 8 QBs in the starting lineup. It's really going to hurt them this week against the St. Albans Sinners, as Captain Kirk leads Skull Nation to a strong start, along with the rebounding Russell Wilson in the new Sean Payton, and I wrote this down earlier, anti-baby kissing offense.
Yes.
He said effing baby kissing. Don't stop your effing baby kissing. I love it. Yeah. So Senators won this one.
Is this, by the way, that is our first deviation of all these picks so far, which is a pretty close. These are pretty close games for week 1, I think.
Well, we will be on the next game too.
I'm sure the next game coming out, there may be some deviations.
Maybe not.
I'm looking at this, and we have also our first Detroit took the player I was going to focus on J.K. Dobbins. But as a man who can think fast on his feet very quickly, there is another thing I would like to see out of this game. I'm looking to see what impact Zeke actually has on Ramondre Stevenson's role in New England. I'm starting to see that he might get the goal line work. I even heard a rumor that he's catching more footballs out of the backfield. So we'll see, because the Ramondre Stevenson was red hot coming into this season as everybody's darling. The Sooners have a long history of having the Patriots running back situation. They're fans of self-harm. I don't understand why they do this to themselves, but they do. So I'm looking to see what impact Zeke has, who is, I believe, yes, what impact Zeke has on Ramondre Stevenson's role in the Sooners offense. With that being said, when I break down this, I hate, and I've talked about this, the Wampus Cats only having one QB is going to be their Achilles heel until they correct that situation, either with Kyler coming back or a trade that they might make, because they're not scared of making trades, as they've shown. But I love their matchups too much in this one to go against them. So I think they're going to sneak away a win here and get by with this one QB strategy that will not work for long, but I do think it works in week 1. So I am going with the Wampus Cats. Next up, there's a reason why this is our semi-main event in week 1, because it is our 2 co-hosts today, as we have, who's home in this bad lad? Are you traveling to Florida, Detroit? Yes, you are.
Yes, I am.
Oh, man, dude. I don't know how. You don't look like a man that holds up well in the heat, Detroit. I don't know. So,
well, why? Because I'm fat.
It's so fun. The River Rats travel to Nocatee to take on the Zen Masters. Take it away, Detroit.
Yes, the River Rats are 5-6 in the history of week 1. And my last win was in 2020, and that was also against Matthew Smith. So add that to there. The Zen Masters are 2-2 in their history. And since it's my team versus his team, I'm going to pick a player for both of our teams. For him, I'm going with James Cook. Can he finally be a good running back option with the Bills? We've seen how the last couple running backs for them have worked out, and I've had both of them. But I think the key in this matchup is Derek Carr going against his former number 1 fan before he gave up on him and traded him up north to the River Rats. He's going to have a career game, and he's going to take the River Rats with the upset on the road. I don't know if that's an upset, but power ranking 10 over even. Power ranking 11.
You're projected to win by 10 to let the audience know. So I made these short and sweet, but looking at the teams, I will personally be very Zen if Derek Carr goes off, scores 40 points, and beats the Zen Masters week 1. I'll take that happily. The Zen Masters, we talked about it when we did this last week. I have the youngest team in the league. So many, who knows, question marks on the stuff.
Oh, man. Everybody a little self-realization
youngest team in the
here.
league, but Kenny Pickett's going to be amazing. Throwing it to George Pickens. The Bills are going to win in the freaking Super Bowl with Dalton Kincaid and James Cook in the Super Bowl. So, Trevor Lawrence, Lamar Jackson, I'll argue with anybody. That is, there's 3 teams in the league that have the 2 best QB duos, and I'll argue that Lawrence and Lamar for the next few years could be the best team in the QB. And that is a huge advantage to the team. And I love George Pickens. The Chiefs have no one right now. Sky Moore, who knows what he'll do? That's the only thing I care about games tomorrow. I want the Lions to win, but I want to see what Sky Moore does. Sky Moore comes away with 2 catches and 10 yards. I want to have a very bad year, I feel like. I will set it away immediately. But, Jordan Love is the biggest question mark I think the River Rats have. How's he going to do? He's been sitting for 3 years. I haven't heard of anyone saying, "Oh, we got to get Jordan Love in there, bench Aaron Rodgers." No one at all has said that. It was that's not why Rodgers left. I think there was mutual arguments and stuff. So Jordan Love is very suspect. I don't have much faith in him. But the number 1 player that is going to lead Nocatee to their first victory of the season is primetime Deion Jackson with the Colts. He's going to be RB1, at least for the first 4 weeks of the season. And Zen Masters winning. They're beating the River Rats in a close matchup. I went long one there,
Yeah.
but I had
Oh,
to.
you're
based
good.
on
When
Detroit's
it's the two people on the
comments.
podcast, I'll let it roll. Let it roll. All right, I wrote this down. I can't believe you hit on it. Or actually, I can. My number one thing I'm looking at, Kelsey's likely out, right? Sky Moore has been a darling in this offseason. I heard a lot of people say this is the time. If you drafted Sky Moore last year, you probably were disappointed, but this is what you were waiting on. I am dying to see his role in the Kansas City offense because they don't have much else. He should be able to take a big step. But with all that being said, I don't want to mean like I'm splitting hairs here. If this game was played in week 10, I would pick the Zen Masters. I still think it's too early. I'm going with the River Rats to get the week 1 victory. So, next up, finally,
We shall see.
we shall see. That's the comments I get. We shall see. I'll take it.
Huge advantage at quarterbacks over my quarterbacks.
The
that's for sure.
quarterbacks I talked about last week. 2 great quarterbacks. It's almost like having a great defense. You're never going to be fully out of the game. I really do believe that. And I don't think either team's going to play out each other in this one. But now we move on to the week 1 game of the week. It's the ring ceremony game, the yearly tradition in the KDFL. Is that week 1? The game of the week is hosted by the last year's champion. So 3 out of the last 4 years, that game, as it is this year, will reside in South Hills as the Evil Empire welcome everybody's hated team this year in the KDFL, the Gamblers, who fell again from 4th to 9th. Detroit, take it away. What do you have for us on the Gamblers visiting the Evil Empire?
Well, the Evil Empire are 9-2 in week 1 history. Their last loss was 2019 to Matthew Smith and the Zen Masters. The Cross Vegas Gamblers are a pitiful 3-8 in week 1s. They started out though 0-8 on week 1s, so they've won their last 3 week 1 matchups. However, looking at these rosters, I think the guy that I'm looking at is for the Gamblers is Brett Steele's favorite player, Michael Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Can he stay healthy, and can he be anything close to what he was from 2017 to 2020?
Slant boy.
He's going to need that for the Gamblers to contend this year. I just don't see it enough. The Evil Empire wins this and start out the season to defend their championship.
Gamblers Evil Empire game of the week. It seems like the Evil Empire chose their opponent to get their ring ceremony. I don't. ESPN is really frustrating me this year. Maybe I just drafted a bunch of terrible teams, but looking at projections, 250 Empire, Gamblers 231. I have no idea how they're projected 231 points. Looking at this team, I honestly think it's the worst team in the league. I mean, I do not like this team at all. I feel like
Wake Forest doesn't like in this comment.
For dynasty purposes, I think it's very, very rough looking. But I think the Evil Empire, of course, their strong open night performance tomorrow night by Mahomes. I think they easily win this. I think projections are full of crap on ESPN, but what do I know?
All right. I like it. Because I, too, believe the Evil Empire are going to celebrate again with another successful start to the season. But my main thing I want to watch is it's year 3 for that big quarterback class. Remember, you got Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. All right? I'm missing one of them, but I don't remember who I'm missing. But anyway, try it.
It's exactly 30 years.
It's exactly who I was missing. That's true. That's staying in. That's staying in the pod. That's staying in. It has to. Anyway, I said all that to say this. You want to see it from Justin Fields. We always know what happened with Zach Wilson. Trey Lance. We like Trevor Lawrence to progress. Mac Jones was on the sideline last year screaming, "Why are we running the ball so much? Get Matt Patricia out of here. Give him my guy." He got Bill O'Brien. He got his guy. Zappy's out of here. He's on the practice squad. Matt Corral's battling him for second spot on the QB depth chart. Mac Jones, let's see it. Let's see if you should have been taken by the Niners 3 overall to stop this whole derailment from happening. I want to see what he does. I want to see if he can sling it at all before Juju's knee explodes, which that was a wild report we can get into at another time. But yeah, so Evil Empire, they'll win. They're boring. I don't care how many people are hurt. It seems like they could really use some help in the depth department, but that's not me. I'm interested to see what Mac Jones brings.
I can't
There it
believe Matt
is.
Corral got 2 mentions on this show.
This is the Matt Crow and
Amazing.
Isaiah Hodgins pod, boys. You
Wow.
can't go anywhere. You can't get that type of in-depth talk anywhere. Only here on the KDFL Dynasty Football Podcast.
This is true. This is
That's
true.
right. That's it for our week 1 predictions. Those are in the books. I'm so excited. It's going to start tonight with the Chiefs and the Lions. So before we sign off, we always do our locks and our upsets. So Detroit, do your fancy stuff, do your sign off, and let me hear who you like. Again, the upsets are worth 2 points. The locks are worth 1. Upset has to be 3.5 points or more spread. Take it away.
Okay, so for the lock of the week, I have the Vikings -6 against Tampa Bay. And my upset of the week is the Giants over the Cowboys. I believe the Cowboys are, 3.5 point favorites in that game. Yeah. Also, I wanted to touch on this before I sign off. As everyone can see, Brett's beautiful shirt that he is wearing right there. If you want to get a shirt like that, we have kind of a sponsor on the show. I'm just throwing this out there. Go to Facebook, check out Graceful Rose. Graceful Rose. She's the one that creates these shirts. So if you want to get one of your favorite team, go out there and purchase it. And also Brett Usock.
Right after I model the shirt too. Unbelievable. Take it away, Matt Smith.
To Nocatee. I need a Nocatee shirt.
Okay. All right.
Lock of the week. I have the Eagles -4 over the Patriots. I don't know. It's week 1, and as me and Detroit said, it's a scripted league, so maybe it's a closer game than it should be. But it just seems like the Eagles should kill the Patriots. I don't have much faith in the Patriots this year with Mac Jones, as you just discussed. But I think the Eagles beat them pretty easily. And then the upset of the week. It should. A couple fans, a couple KDFL owners should be happy about this. I think the Lions are going to upset the Chiefs. I think it'll be a shootout. I think Travis Kelce, he's not playing. Is he out for sure yet? Do we know?
I think it's leaning that way.
Questionable. He's questionable.
I think it's leaning that way, personally.
But I mean, the Lions have all the hype, so we'll see how it starts out. I mean, they are opening the season, which is crazy to think. The Lions are opening the season Thursday night. I think they come out strong. The offense looked great at the end of last year. The Chiefs, their weapons, unless my guy Sky Moore just has the greatest game ever, I don't see who's going to score too much for the Chiefs. But I really like the Lions. So that's it. I don't really have a sign off. You can follow me on Nocatee Zen Master. On X, not Twitter, X. So that's about it.
All right. It's almost like so for my lock of the week, my theme of my picks this week are teams that had tumultuous off seasons. They're going to get their comeuppance in week 1. The Niners had a very rocky off season, full of headlines, stayed in the news with Lance, stayed in the news with Bosa. Both are rectified, but it's still going to be a little too late because when you have that much struggles, the last place you want to start your season at is in Pittsburgh with a team that had a great preseason and is on the upkick. Give me the Steelers getting 2.5 at home at their home opener against the Niners. And then it's almost like we put our upsets in the chat and then somebody still takes it. So let me find my actual upset. No, but I had another one ready. Don't worry. I had another one ready. This is the one I said I wanted to stay away from, but if none of y'all picked it.
I apologize.
No, you're fine. Because I do want to talk about this. Another tumultuous off season. We've referenced it twice now. Sean Payton, Russ, it's not going to gel right off the bat. Give me the Raiders to go into Denver and just flat out win. This is before Jimmy No Knees gets hurt. They should hit the ground running. So give me the Raiders to score the upset road victory. And then a little segment I'm going to do this year. The stealing money, the Brett stealing money parlay. I mentioned it on the one-off interview in the KDFL Underground with Tim Barker. Give me the Commanders to win, the Ravens to win, and the Vikings to win. parlay them together, you get plus 123. So it is plus money. I don't see how any of these 3 teams don't win outright. They're all at home. They're all facing inferior opponents. And that's it, boys. Week 1 is in the books. You can follow this podcast at KDFL Podcast. Follow me at Brett Still 2 and follow Detroit at John8374. And that's it for week 1. We will be back for week 2 with the week 1 results and, of course, week 2 predictions. So, for Jonathan Detroit Hayne, for Matthew Smith, I'm Brett Still, and we'll see you next week right here on the KDFL Dynasty Football